Hi, Den here from S.C.A.L.E Academy. I'm in France at Visa pour l'Image in Perpignan. This is the world's biggest gathering of photojournalism. It's a huge event and some of the biggest names in photojournalism are here, and we've been asked at S.C.A.L.E Academy to come and talk about DSLR video. But I'm here to talk to you about this camera, the Canon EOS 60D. We've managed to get our hands on a physical version. Now, unfortunately, the reason we've got this camera is on the promise that we won't shoot anything with it because it's a pre-production model and it's not finished yet. We've also got this lovely 8 to 15mm super fisheye lens. So let's first talk about the articulated screen. Now, it's the same screen resolution that's on the 550D and Rebel T2i, and if you've got that camera, you know it's a really, really good sharp screen. But what I love about this camera and what inspires me as a filmmaker is the fact that it's fully articulated. So if I wanted to shoot myself, I could, but what's more important is the ability to get the camera in those unusual positions that you often find where the really best shots are. You might be up against a wall, in a tight corner, and with a traditional screen you just can't get access to the shot you want. Whereas this one, you can pretty much put this screen in any number of different positions, and that is what really makes this so fabulous. Hugely versatile, and as a filmmaker especially, this is an absolute no-brainer. It really is fantastic. And of course, manual audio control is a really nice feature of this camera. You want to have manual audio control so you can set your own levels. And in addition, there's a wind cut filter in this camera, which means it will just give you an improved quality of audio when you have to use the built-in mic. If you're in a situation where you're running and gunning and you want to grab a shot, wind noise is often the biggest factor when you're using the built-in mic. So this new filter will certainly help reduce some of that. This is something that's been much requested, and that is a lock on the mode dial. It's very easy when you're running around to knock the mode dial and pop out of the function that you're actually working within. On this, there's a lock, so you press the button and you move the camera into the various functions that you want to shoot within. Now, movie mode on this camera is the same as it exists on the 550D and Rebel T2i. So you set it on here, then that allows you to access all the menu functions. Now, this camera has all the same movie recording functions as the 7D, so you've got 1920 1080, 720, 50 and 60p, you've got 24, 25 and 30p, as well as the SD resolutions. So really, it's a very comprehensive movie shooting tool. A couple of other things to note on this camera. If you're going to do time-lapse, the connector's an E3 connector. That's different from the 5D and the 7D. This actually takes a mini jack, and so you need to buy an intervalometer that has that connection. So this camera takes SD cards in all formats. That's SDHC, SD and SDXC. Complicated, I know, but the fact is it takes them all in this little slot here, so that's very similar to the 550D and Rebel T2i. The one thing that is different, and I think is really smart, is that the batteries this camera takes are the LPE6 batteries, the ones that you use in the 5D Mark II and your 7D. Finally, just overall durability. When I first picked this camera up yesterday, I actually thought it was a magnesium alloy body until the Canon rep told me no, actually it's plastic, but it's very, very robust. It feels very, very solid. It feels like I'm shooting on my 7D, and particularly this articulated screen feels very, very solid, so that, you know, when you are out shooting, if it takes a bit of a knock, it's not going to fall apart. And finally, there's this new wrist strap that Canon have brought out. Again, a really small thing, but if you're running around shooting, especially if you're shooting this in, you know, any extreme environment, and you want to shoot single-handed, you know, you've got that extra bit of security, knowing you're not going to drop your expensive camera. So that's it. It's a very brief introduction. Sorry I can't show you any pictures, but hopefully you can just get a feel for what this camera means. I'm certainly going to be getting one, and I think you should too.